Good day, class. Let us now discuss our final topic, the evolution of the Philippine Constitution. So, unang-una, ano ba ang Constitution? Ganito yan. Ang Constitution ay parang homeroom rules, okay? Or classroom rules. Na, for example, sa isang classroom, di ba grupo kayo? You are a group of students. Kaya, in order for your group to be organized, much disciplined, at para hindi kayo always nagkakagulo sa loob ng classroom, meron kayong mga rules, mga batas na sinusunod. Example, not being noisy, not being always late, always being respectful to each other, addressing each other by their first name or last name respectively, at hindi nag-aaway. So, kung merong lumabag sa mga rules na yon, anong mangyayari? Mapapunish yung violator. Okay? So, ganun sa loob ng classroom. I-correlate natin sa loob ng isang country mismo, isang buong bansa. Diba? Ang rami natin. How can we govern ourselves? How can we rule ourselves to be more disciplined, more respectful of each other? Diyan papasok yung Constitution class. Because itong Constitution na ito, nakasulat sa slides natin, it is a set, okay? Marami yan, maraming laws yan. Grupo ng mga laws yan. Kaya set, hindi lang iisa, pero maraming rules. Okay? A set of fundamental principles or established rules according to which a state or an organization or a country, for example, like the Philippines, is governed. So, halimbawa, sino ba ang nagsasabi sa atin na ang Pilipinas ay pinamumunuan ng isang president? Have you ever thought of that? Sino ba yung nag-uutos sa atin na every 6 years mag-e-elect tayo at babaguhin na natin yung presidente natin? Sino ba yung nagsasabi sa atin na meron tayong 24 senators na kada 3 years ibinoboto natin yung half sa kanila, yung 6 sa kanila? Who tells us that we have a Supreme Court and other courts para kung meron tayong gustong isumbong at gustong panagutin, pumunta tayo sa korte at mag-file lang case laban sa kanya? Well, class, the answer is this. It's a constitution. Batas, a set of rules yan. Okay? At ang Pilipinas ay merong constitution at ito ay sinusunod natin from 1987 up to this day. Kasi ang gamit natin presently is the 1987 Constitution. So, ito yung mga rules na sinusunod natin sa pagpapatakbo ng ating gobyerno at sa pag-govern ng buong sambayan ng Pilipinas. That is the Constitution. So, the Philippine Constitution class, in retrospect, looking backwards, merong tatlong old Constitution na effectively nag-govern sa atin. Okay? Effective ito. Talagang ginamit natin itong tatlong ito during the times that they were in effect. First is the 1935 Constitution, second is the 1973 Constitution, and third is the 1986 Freedom Constitution. So, effectively, itong tatlong to. Pero meron pang ibang constitution na napatupad pero hindi naging ginamit, kaya hindi ginamit effectively because of some reasons. At papag-aralan rin natin yung mga constitution na ito kahit hindi sila naging effective in running our government. So, ito yung isang example. Well, this was the very first attempt, okay? The very first attempt of the Filipinos to create a constitution. The 1897 Constitution or the so-called Constitution of Biak na Bato. Pero, kung napapansin niyo, balikan natin yung last slide, hindi ito kasali. Yung 1897 Consti, wala dyan. Okay? Wala dito sa listahan. Nowhere. Kaya hindi siya naging effective. Pero ito yung first attempt natin to create our own constitution. So ano ba ito? The Constitution of Biak na Bato class is a provisionary constitution na ginamit natin during the revolution. Okay? During the war between the Filipinos and the Spaniards. And in the interim, kaya nga provisionary, habang nangyayari yung gera, okay, ginawa itong Constitution of Biak na Bato. Why? Well, in the hopes na yung mga Filipino leaders natin noon, they want to have a government of the Philippines that is run by the Filipinos. Kaya ang question doon, paano papatakbuhin yung government natin? So, kailangan ng Constitution para doon nakalagay yung mga kapangyarihan ng President, sino yung mga tatakbo na gagawa ng batas, ano yung qualifications nila, ano yung requirement para maging president ka or vice president ka ng Pilipinas. Okay? Yun yung examples. So, dyan papasok yung Constitution of Biak na Bato during the Philippine Revolution. So, sa paggawa nito, gumamit o let's say nag-benchmark, okay? Benchmark or tumingin yung mga gumawa ng constitution sa constitution na ng ibang country na ginagamit doon sa ibang country na yon, at doon kumuha ng inspiration kung ano yung magiging laman ng constitution ng Biak na Bato. So, saang country nang galing? Sa Cuba. And it was written by Isabelo Artacho and Felix Ferrer, but take note, Spanish yung first language. Pero, well, as we all know, during those times, Spanish versus Filipino War, during those times, Spanish kasi yung main language dito sa Pilipinas. But, as time goes by, i-translate rin naman sa Tagalog. So, sa loob ng Constitution of Biak na Bato, ito yung tatlong organs ng government. Okay? One government is as a whole, pero merong tatlong main bodies. Okay? Una, the Supreme Council. Ito yung katumbas ng executive branch ngayon. Ito po yung ito yung pinaka-organ na nagmamanage sa lahat-lahat ng daily affairs ng ating government. Nagpapatupad yan ng mga batas, nagpapatupad yan ng mga budgeting, okay? At yan yung pinaka-leader natin during the war. And then we have the Consejo Supremo de Gracia y Justicia, o eto ngayon yung katumbas ng judicial branch. Dito mo makikita yung mga korte. Okay? The Courts of Justice, na kung saan naglilitis sa mga inirereklamong mga individual. And third is the Asamblea de Representantes. Katumbas ito ngayon ng Legislative Department o yung Kongreso na ang trabaho ay gumagawa ng mga batas. Okay, they are our lawmakers. Gumagawa nila ng mga batas na dapat sundin ng lahat. So, ano bang nangyari sa Constitution of Biak na Bato? Well, it was never fully implemented because of the peace agreement, a truce. Okay, a peace agreement which is the so-called Pact of Biak na Bato. Kasi nagkaroon naman ng pagkakasundo, temporarily yan. Although, okay, hindi talaga permanent peace. Pero because of this peace, that even though it was somehow very short, hindi na kinailangan ipatupad pa yung Constitution of Biak na Bato. Kasi nga, no need. Kasi nagkasundo naman na yung both sides. Kaya wala nang need para bumuo o gumamit ng bagong Constitution. Kaya naiging scrap na yung Constitution of Biak na Bato. Okay? After this Constitution of Biak na Bato class, sumunod na Constitution, the Malolos Constitution 1899. Pero again, take note, hindi pa ito kasali. Okay? This second attempt to make a constitution by Filipinos, hindi pa rin po ito naging effective kasi hindi ito isa sa mga tatlong constitution na naging effective na nag-govern sa atin. So, ano ang laman ng 1899 Constitution or the Malolos Consti? So, first and foremost, in exile, okay? After the Filipino-Spanish War, in exile yung president natin, si Emilio Aguinaldo. In exile siya sa Hong Kong, okay? And while in Hong Kong, they planned again on how to make our country independent. Okay? So, the newly reformed Philippine Revolutionary Forces reverted to the control of Aguinaldo, and the Philippine Declaration of Independence was issued on June 12, 1898. Okay, so ito yung inaral natin na Philippine Declaration of Independence. And after i-declare na independent ng Pilipinas, class, create yung isang body that is called the Malolos Congress, na ang trabaho ay gumawa ng bagong constitution. Okay? Ito yung grupo ng mga tao na gumawa ng bagong constitution na pinangalan ng Malolos Constitution. So, sa paggawa ng Malolos Constitution, class, again, nag-benchmark ulit tayo sa mga ibang countries at kumuha tayo ng inspiration sa constitution ng Spain, Belgium, Mexico, Brazil, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Guatemala, France, okay? So, ang raming countries, okay? Ang napaka-tiyaga naman magbasa ng mga drafters ng constitution, and they had the time to read constitution of different countries. Okay? But the main author of them is Felipe Calderon, okay? Siya po yung pinaka-main author among this group of the writers of the Malolos Constitution. Another sources, okay? Another inspiration of the Malolos Constitution are the following. Yung kartilya, ginamit rin nila to draft the Malolos Constitution. The Biak na Bato Consti, the Constitutional Program of the Philippine Republic by, si Mabini, nagsulat rin siya ng own version niya. Si Mariano Ponce and si Paterno. Okay? Names that are always being mentioned in the study of Philippine history. Now, ito yung pinaka-important, okay? One of the main highlights of the Malolos Constitution, class. For the first time, okay? For the first time in Philippine history, meron ng rule na nagsasabi separated ang simbahan at ang estado, o ang simbahan at ang gobyerno hindi dapat magkaisa, magkahiwalay dapat. Okay? So, Malolos Constitution have seen it, okay? Have made it official, okay? Ginawa ng official through a law, a constitution by itself, na hindi na dapat pang ibigay yung kapangyarihan ng pagko-govern ng country sa mga nasa simbahan. Bakit? Tingnan ninyo yung experience ng Philippines under the friars. 'Di ba? Sino ba yung mga important Filipinos na nagdusa sa kamay ng mga pare na namumuno na nga sa simbahan, ang lakas pa ng power nila sa gobyerno? So, sino yung mga Filipino na ito na nagsuffer sa kamay ng mga praile? Una, Dr. Jose Rizal. Second, Dagong Burza, yung tatlong pare. So, nagdusa sila. Okay? And that is what Dr. Jose Rizal has keep on mentioning in his novels. Ibinubulgar niya yung mga napaka-corrupt na ginagawa ng mga pare. So, the Malolos Congress have made it official through the Constitution na dapat magkahiwalay na ang simbahan at ang government at hindi sila pwedeng magpakialaman. Alright? So, class, until today, itong separation of church and state na ito, nandoon nakasulat sa ginagamit natin na constitution ngayon. Ang nanguna rito ay itong Malolos Constitution. Okay? Kasi lahat tayo, meron tayong freedom and equality to believe. Okay? Kasi kung hinayaan natin na ang simbahan at ang gobyerno ay iisa lamang, didiktahan na tayo ng government kung ano yung paniniwalaan natin. Kung paano tayo dapat kumilos base sa religion. Okay? Yan ang ayaw na mangyari ng mga gumawa ng Malolos Constitution. Okay? Kaya pinaghiwalay nila ang simbahan at ang gobyerno para yung mga tao ay ma-exercise nila yung freedom and equality of all beliefs na meron sila. So, kita nyo di ba, nagado ti religion ti Philippines Hanlaing Catholic Church. Okay? That is because of this. Meron tayong freedom and equality of all beliefs. So, anong nangyari sa Malolos Consti? Again, it was never enforced. Hindi siya naging effective. Ano ang rason? Yung gera pa rin. Okay? The war between Philippines and Spain, and then Philippines versus the Americans. Okay? So, hindi talaga ito naging effective. And then, here comes another constitution. Noong panahon na sa ilalim tayo ng American colonization, ay itong 1935 Constitution. So, this is now one of the 3 effective constitutions that governed us before. The so-called the Commonwealth Constitution. So, sinong president noon dito? It was Manuel L. Quezon. So, di ba nga, napag-aralan natin noon na ang US nabili niya ang Philippines mula sa kamay ng mga Espanyol. So, after the Treaty of Paris, yon, pagmamay-ari na ng pagmamay-ari na ng Amerika ang Philippines. Now, there came a time na ang Amerika, in fairness to them, they want to give us our own freedom. Okay? Kahit kinolonize nila tayo, hindi naman sila naging katulad ng mga Espanyol na ang gusto ng mga Espanyol noon ay sila lang ang mamuno sa atin. But the Americans were somewhat different kasi through the Tidings McDuffie Act, binigyan nila tayo ng freedom to create or to establish our own constitution. Okay? Para sa ganun, mag-rule na tayo o papalakarin na natin yung sarili nating government na wala na silang pakialam. Okay? So, bumuo ulit ng isang convention, grupo ng mga tao na susulat ng bagong constitution, at ang pinaka-leader nito ay si Claro M. Recto. Perhaps you have been hearing this name before. Okay? Claro M. Recto. So, kumuha ulit ng inspiration from other countries. These countries are the America, Germany, Spain, Mexico, several countries in South America, and also the Constitution of the United Kingdom or the English Constitution. So, kaya nga ang definition natin sa Commonwealth of the Philippines ay isa lamang transitional government. Meaning, from American colonization, okay, from American colonization, bibigyan nila tayo ng freedom na tayo na lamang ang mamumuno sa ating sarili. But in the interim, okay, in the interim, habang nangyayari smoothly yung pagbibigay ng freedom nila, kailangan natin ng rules para mamuno ta sa atin in the interim. At dito papasok yung Commonwealth Constitution. Ito yung gagamitin natin na constitution para i-train yung sarili natin na mamuno sa ating mga sarili na tayo-tayo na lamang onwards. Okay? So, dyan papasok yung Commonwealth Constitution. So, ano yung mga napakahalagang features ng Commonwealth Constitution class. So, unang-una, unicameral noon yung Kongreso. Ang tawag sa Kongreso noon, adyi katumbas ti Senate ken House of Representatives itatta, tinagan na idi National Assembly. Okay? But as time goes by, binaliwan da. Okay? Kasi dati, adyi National Assembly, wala noong Senate, wala noong House of Representatives. Kasi iisa lang yan. Amin-amin da, lahat sila congressman. Okay? Pero as time goes by, pinalitan, inamend nila yung setup na yon at ginawa na nilang bicameral Congress. Okay? Bicameral Congress. So, meron ng Senate at meron ng House of Representatives. 1935 pala nagsimula. Or 1940 should I say. 1940 pala na for the first time meron tayong Senate at House of Representatives. And until now, pinapractice pa rin natin ito. Nag-elect pa rin tayo ng Senate, senators at mga House of Representatives. Na tawag natin ay congressman, yung tawag natin sa kanila. And also, what you should take note is in the 1935 Constitution class, pwedeng tumakbo 2 times yung President at yung Vice President. Kaso nga lang, mas maikli yung each term nila. Yung first at second term nila ay only 4 years. So, kung manalo sila 2 beses, 8 years yung pwede nilang pagiging President o Vice President. Pero ngayon, iba na kasi. 1 time na lang pwedeng tumakbo yung isang tao at manalo as President at 6 years lamang. Okay? 6 years lamang yung term niya diretso. Okay? And eto yung pinaka-highlight sa 1935 Constitution. Kasi for the first time class, in 1935, for the first time, binigyan na ng right yung mga babae na mag-participate sa election. Okay? Yung right to vote and to be voted upon. Okay? Bumoto at para maiboto, okay? To vote, to cast your vote, or to be voted upon, to run in a government seat at i-elect ka ng mga tao. For the first time in 1935, yung mga babae, pwede na nilang gawin yan. Kasi before that, wala. Mga lalaki lang yung merong right to suffrage or right to vote and be voted upon. Dito pala sa 1935 Constitution, in the Philippines, for the first time, nabigyan ng right na ganon yung mga babae. Pero anong nangyari sa 1935 Constitution class? Naging effective siya, pero briefly na-interrupt. Anong rason? Etong mga mga sumunod na colonizers natin after the Americans, the Japanese. Okay? So, effective noon yung 1935 Consti, pero by 1946 or by 1945, nandito na yung mga Hapon, naggera na, kaya hindi na ginamit ulit yung 1935 Constitution. Okay? Inirestore na lamang after ng gera. After July 4, 1946. Okay? So, from July 4, 1946 up to 1973, Commonwealth Constitution ang ginagamit natin. So, here comes the next Constitution. A Constitution that is made by under the leadership of an Ilocano, okay? The former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So, noong second term, okay? Noong second term ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. na create itong 1973 Constitution class. Okay? And what an interesting piece of knowledge that we should know, mga former presidents pala yung kinuha ni Marcos na mag-lead doon sa mga grupo na gagawa ng Constitution. Una, former President Carlos P. Garcia. Pero nung namatay siya, pinalitan naman siya ni kay another president, Diosdado Macapagal. Okay? And this was the backdrop. Okay? Ito yung naging rason kaya pinalitan ni President Marcos yung 1935 Constitution. Because of the martial law and because of the growing communist insurgency. May mga rebelde talaga noon. Okay? There were rebels roaming the streets of the Philippines during this time, and he wants to create a new law to govern the Philippines. Kaya nga lang, sad to say, this is the part of the history of Marcos as president na turn off talaga ako personally. Ewan ko lang sa inyo, but again, I respect your own opinions. But for me, personally, ito yung time na dahil martial law, very powerful ang president, okay? Nagkaroon siya ng chance, ng opportunity to dictate, to dictate the content of the new constitution. Okay? So, meron na siyang opportunity na sabihin kung ano yung mga gusto niyang ilagay doon sa bagong constitution, doon sa bagong batas na mag-govern sa buong Pilipinas. Okay? And because of this class, he was able to hold on the power as the president as long as he could. Kaya kung titingnan ninyo yung kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, ang presidente natin na pinakamahaba yung term na nag-serve siya as president ay siya. Okay? Former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And mind you class, 20 years. Okay? Umabot sa 20 years yung pag-rule niya as president. Okay? So, under the 1973 Constitution class, naging parliamentary style ang ating gobyerno. Kapatpada na ito, UK, United Kingdom. Meron silang parliament. Meron silang prime minister. Ang difference lang sa atin noon, president. Doon kasi sa UK, queen. Okay? Kasi monarchy sila. Meron silang queen. Pero dito sa Philippines, parliamentary presidential. Kaya instead of a queen or a king, it's a president. Okay? So, ang pinagkaiba lang naman, prime minister, member din siya ang prime minister, member din siya ng National Assembly. Gumagawa siya ng batas at the same time siya na rin yung nag-i-implement. Ang role naman ni president ay symbolic and ceremonial lamang. Nulaeng at dati important matter in international arena at kailangan ng representative ang Philippines, si president mostly yung haharap sa ibang